What's up, everybody? Welcome to Are You Down with LPT, the podcast where agents like you share their stories, experiences, and insights to help each other level up and thrive. In every episode, we're diving deep into the real-life challenges, wins, and lessons from the front lines. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just getting started, this is the place to connect, learn, and grow together. So, if you're ready to get down with LPT and take your game to the next level, let's jump in.
Hey, it's Jim Hibbs, and today, are you down with LPT? Well, I'll tell you one guy who's down with LPT and has been for a full half of a year now, Pete Jones. Pete, you're one of our newer agents. Tell me a little bit about, why did you get into real estate?
I often ask myself that question.
Especially in those first 6 months. I get that.
Typically while hitting my head against the mirror. Honestly, I was in a position, I've been in, and I've said this in previous podcasts, so it's probably getting old now. I've been in marketing the last 20 years, 15, 20 years, sales and marketing, sales on the front end, marketing more so since then. So I got to a point where I kind of fell out of love for it, wasn't really enjoying the ups and downs of that space, and went from the corporate world, worked in the agency world for a while, and just, again, I was working remotely for a company in Wisconsin. Ultimately, I wasn't involved in the community. I wasn't networking. I wasn't getting out and having lunches with friends. I was working all the time and just wasn't helping anybody. So I started to ask myself, what businesses or what careers could I do? Could I change into where I could do those things? I can be involved in the community. I can help people, and I can connect with people. And honestly, real estate was one that just kind of popped up. One day I said to my wife, "What do you think about being a realtor?" And she said, "Actually, I was thinking about that a couple days ago for you, but I didn't want to present it to you because you probably would have run from it had I done it." And I said, "Well, maybe." Anywho, long story short, I made the decision last summer to start doing the things, and got my license December 9th.
Yeah, and you knew Sue Mears, family friend, longtime realtor for the last few decades now.
I grew up with her son Tori, who was a year younger than I was. So she lives, her home where she still lives is around near where I grew up.
Okay.
My mom's moved from there. My brother bought that house, and so we're still in the area.
Nice. So, all right. I remember 2016 is when I started in my first full year. That first 6 months, I think I did 2 deals, and it got a little stressful. Talk to me about what these first 6 months have been like for you, transitioning from that paid every 2 weeks or whatever the cycle was to the unknown of being an independent contractor.
It is, honestly, there's not words for it, and anybody who's gone through it can certainly understands what I'm trying to say, but without saying it. It's a lot. It was. I was not ready for it. Looking back, just having no idea where any money is coming from, and knowing that it was going to take time to build my business, and it wasn't going to happen overnight. I started in January. I started marketing my business in January. I signed a buyer in February. I was like, "This is great, perfect."
It's easy.
And then I signed a seller or a listing in March. And I'm like, "This is fantastic." However, both of those took until June to mature. And so throughout that time, I was marketing videos every day, having networking lunches with people. And then it got to the point where I couldn't afford to have networking lunches anymore. So I was sending letters. I was doing all the things everyone says you have to do. And just showing up just every day, coming in and doing things. And it's a lot. It was a lot. It has been a lot. But things are started to move on. So
that's awesome.
Things are getting better.
How did you do that? Pete? How did you get through that? We're talking to people. Most of us went through that. Mm-hmm. 5 out of 100 new agents make it to 2 years, maybe. Mm-hmm. How is it? And granted, we're only 6 months in. How were you able to self-motivate to get yourself? And you're in the office every day, most days. How did you manage to keep one foot after the other?
I just really had no other option. I had made the transition out of what I was doing for the past whatever years, and I wanted this to work. I wanted to build my personal brand, and I wanted to do it, and it wasn't something I wanted to walk away from. So once I put my toe in the water, this was it, and this is going to be it. It was great that there is in this office, in the Clive office, a great group of people, agents also, but people first, that come in, 10 to 15 of us that come in probably most of the time. Mm-hmm. And I've become friends with some, and just, it's a good sounding board because everyone's gone through it. Everyone has their own circumstance. And so from that perspective, you have a group of individuals who are, also rallying for you. But honestly, it was just, I knew I had to do it, and I knew what I needed to do each day. And I had faith that eventually the snowball would start to roll.
And it's rolling now. I mean, you've got some closings coming up in August, but one observation I had with you, Pete, over the last 6 months is that you continued to work the business, even though the business wasn't giving back at the time. Mm-hmm. What I mean by that, coming into the office, doing the videos that you did, and you went out and you sought homes that, whether it's an agent open or you reach out to other agents, you go do videos, you're promoting yourself online. I mean, you were taking the steps as a realtor, even if you didn't have that business at the moment.
Yeah, I knew I needed income. So I thought, marketing is my background, and I found a lot of agents, they're more on the sales side than the marketing side. So it was just an opportunity to.
Let's be honest, some of them were made for radio too. But anyway, go ahead. I'm kidding.
So just found an opportunity. I realized, putting myself out there and offering the service was an opportunity just to make some income. And then also I packaged that into marketing for sale by owners. Just I'll come do a video for you in your home and help you market it. Ultimately, I'm in the video. It's me talking also my business, but it's promoting your home, and it's an opportunity to, and I had an opportunity to potentially sell a FSBO as a result of that. Unfortunately, they decided to go with the wrong agent, but that's all right.
Yeah. Well, and the thing I see you doing now too is you've kind of expanded, talking about different businesses and restaurants around town. Why do that?
Well, I was doing that before. But like I said, I couldn't afford to go to lunch in them, so it's hard to do food review when I couldn't go to them. So I mean, I don't recall where I heard this, but basically, if somebody's trying to move to the area, they're going to want to understand all the things, not just the home, but the lifestyle and the restaurants and the parks and all. So if you can sort of tell that whole story in the area that you're in, and I'm trying to hit them all, right? I'm in Ankeny sometimes, I'm in Clive, I'm in Johnston. Just continue to do that as much as possible. Eventually, the right person is going to see it and say, oh, I wouldn't mind moving to Clive or Urbandale or whatever it may be. So
positions you as an expert as well of the community.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure, or at least in theory.
Well, and you think about it, for those of us who grew up here, and you did as well, Pete. I mean, we take for granted the things that go on downtown, whether it's the Arts Festival or the bridges of Madison County, or the festival in Pella. These are all things. Oh yeah, that happens every year. Mm-hmm. But taking those opportunities and talking about them in social media, that helps build your audience. And then, like you said, as somebody's just searching and looking for a realtor and they find you, that expertise that you show helps build your brand and potentially get a client to want to work with you.
Yeah, I mean, so I did a video I posted yesterday on Cooper's Hawk. So I went to lunch there with my buddy on Friday.
Pretzel pork chop is amazing there. But anyway, go ahead.
And on TikTok, ironically, on YouTube, I don't get that much traffic on my food reviews. But TikTok, I have 2,000 2,000 views. There are, I'm trying to count as I'm looking here, 15 or so different comments from people, because Cooper's Hawk, I didn't realize, is a national chain, which makes sense. And so while I'm focusing on, you can put a location on your post. So I focused on Clive as the location because obviously that's where the restaurant is. But there's people that have seen this in other markets, like my cousin in Kansas City. Oh, I love Cooper's Hawk. And there's one guy in Ohio saying, I hate Cooper's Hawk. It's overpriced. And so it's just conversation. And while those people may or may not ever buy a home in Des Moines, it's gaining traction and the algorithms like it. And
You're marketing yourself.
Yeah, and today I'll post something more of a talking head type video where I have a couple recorded that I did yesterday during the open house when no one came in that I can push out today. So, yeah.
So the self-motivation is what I'm hearing from you, and you were motivated. You've obviously, you have a family and you want to take care of them, and that can drive those of us with families. But there's also that component of you being successful, that part of you that has driven you. How do you access that, or on the days when you're like, I just don't think I can continue this? What is it that you do to get at it?
Honestly, this morning I don't have anything on my calendar today.
Yeah.
What am I going to do to stay busy and stay focused? And so it was just, I know I need to prospect, and prospecting can be anything from sending out letters to making phone calls to putting out social media, all the things, continuing to spread the market. And then also I know I have a couple appraisals I need to follow up on for 2 listings. And so it's just thinking through what has to happen today to make today a success, and not so much the doom and gloom of, at least for those 6 months where I had one deal in 6 months. Honestly, it was just moving forward, just keeping focused and trying not to think about the inevitable.
So, and I'm jumping around a little bit here because I'm thinking of all the folks who have just got started, or even folks that have been in the business for a year or two and kind of have that same feeling, or those of us who've been in for quite a while and we're still using MySpace and not TikTok. I'm kidding about that MySpace thing. Is that even around anymore? I don't think it is. Anyway, the question that I have for you on TikTok, were you using TikTok before you got into real estate, or did you say, you know what, this is a tool I need?
Yeah, I've never, in all of my years in marketing, never had a client that leveraged TikTok. We never used it for any of our strategies. But, I got an account as I was getting into real estate, and I was watching a lot of realtors on TikTok sharing a lot of great information. And there are still a lot of realtors that their audience that they're trying to influence is other realtors. There's coaches or whatever it may be. And you can go down the rabbit hole of filling out their form and, all of that, or you can just watch the content. And there's a lot of great content. And I learned a lot about being a realtor on TikTok. And I knew when I started, I wanted to switch that and leverage my brand for people interested in buying. At one point I did ads through TikTok, and I actually, for next to nothing, was getting, you drop a video and you say, I have this great guide, free guide, if you want it, message me. And I was getting some leads from it. The people that I got weren't credit ready. And so it was, I haven't gone back to it yet, and I haven't got any leads necessarily from TikTok outside of placing some ads, but I think it's only a matter of time. You just continue to keep doing what you're doing. And the algorithms like consistency, so posting something every day.
That's really a must in social media, posting on a regular basis. If you do something every few weeks or once a month, you're just not going to get the following.
Yeah. And, ironically, I asked, and on my individual Facebook page, I asked my audience, I said, do you find any value from a realtor who shares an under contract image or a just listed image? And of course, everyone said, no, there's no value to that. And so then I asked, what would you find valuable? And they said, learning the story, understanding what you did to make that home sell differently, how you impacted the family, what the family needed, and doing more of a storytelling perspective. And I was like, that's absolutely what I was thinking.
Yes.
But it was good to hear from the audience. And then I got to thinking, gosh, there's some agents, nobody that I know, of course, but there's some agents that all they do, the only thing they post is the under contract or the listing image, and there's
sold in one day.
There's no other presence on social, and I don't see how obviously they're getting business, and that's great, but you have to have consistency and have different messages.
Well, and the other part that you're selling yourself, and I'm going back to my old TV days and then marketing that I was in a decade plus ago. But that connection that happens when your face is what people are, they're ingesting your voice, your sound, and your visual, and they're getting to know you in a way that doesn't happen when you just post a picture with a sold sign and your buyers or your sellers, or you just post just do a podcast like this. You can't see us. Anytime you have that the sound, the visual, and along with the sound, the visual, and the words, you're connecting better, and that's what you're doing. I mean, your audience is growing.
Yeah, for sure. And, eventually here soon I'll start having a lot more reviews online, hopefully 5 stars. And, I keep telling people, and I don't know why I say snowball, and I can't just say the ball's rolling, but the snowball's rolling. It's starting to move. It's not going downhill yet. Downhill is when maybe I'm doing like an Anna month where I sold 15 deals in a month or whatever it may be. That's a downhill roll. Right now it's moving. It's starting, the momentum's going.
That's right. Momentum is going. Any learning lessons? Let's talk about maybe some of the leads. You had kind of, some folks had reached out to you, you connected with some different people about leads. Was that a good thing, bad thing? What's your learning lesson there?
I've learned that if it's more than 15, 20 minutes from where I am, I'm going to make sure they understand what a BBA is by a broker agreement. I asked around initially, do you have that conversation on the phone or do you wait to do it in person? Everyone said do it in person. But if I'm driving half an hour, like the one time I drove to the south side for an opportunity and she says, I'm not signing anything, she said.
Yeah.
I said, listen, it's not, and I explained it to her like I have everybody else. We can do it just for this home. We can do it just for today. We can, no, I'm not signing anything. And so I drove half an hour for no reason. She wasn't even going to see the home because she wasn't going to sign the agreement.
Yeah.
Oh, the last agent I worked with didn't make me sign it, and that was 2 days ago or something. I said, well, I don't want to lose my license. So, And then there's the, having the conversation on the phone about credit approval. If I'm going to go more than half an hour, I'm not going to go unless I know they have a credit approval and they're willing to sign the BBA and potentially sign it before I go, just because my time's valuable and I don't want to. When I was newer, I say that now, I have a whole 6 months under my belt, I would go anywhere, anytime, because I needed the opportunity, and I still do, but I also don't want to waste my time driving down there and finding out that they're not even credit approved, and they're not willing to sign the BBA. So those are some lessons learned along the way.
Good points. What about open houses? You continue to do those? Have you found them valuable?
I haven't got a lead from an open house yet, and some people find that surprising. And by all means, I didn't think it would be the case. I thought, it's a good opportunity to meet people and I would get business from it. I haven't yet. And I'm continuing to study the ways other people do it to see what I can do to learn. Initially, I was the guy that, hey, I'm over here in the corner. If you have any questions, let me know. And I realized they're not getting any value from that. They need me to be more involved. And so I'm not the follow them around the house guy. That's not my style, but I'm certainly trying to be more involved and create a connection. And honestly, there's been a couple times where I felt like there was a great connection with the person, and then I follow up. I send them a video, text it later, or I call them, or I email them, or I text them, and it's Ghost City.
If I had the cricket sound, I would play that right now. So we've all been there.
Just continue to do it. I think. The one I had yesterday, I felt like there was a pretty good connection, but then more people came in and they snuck out, and I didn't get a chance to follow up with them, which is a good problem to have, right? Having too many people at the open house.
Yeah.
But hopefully they'll circle back.
Any last thoughts? Maybe somebody listening just got their license yesterday or a month ago, and they expected to sell their first $1 million house in the first 2 weeks. And
yeah, everyone's told me, or I heard often, you're going to be lucky to break even in the first year.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, I'm gonna break that. I'm gonna do it differently. The reality is, you're going to be lucky to break even in the first year, and that doesn't mean you're not going to sell listings or help buyers. It just means that the expenses that you go in those months that you didn't get any volume, you could make a bunch of money, but the expenses are going to be so much that you're just probably going to break even and get zero at the end of the year. I don't know if that's the case for me, but it's a reality. And I also heard you really have to have a good amount of savings built up before you come in the business, and that's absolutely true.
Yes.
Even if you're single and you work a second job, those are obviously you have less expense because you're single and you work a second job, so you have some income. You want to stick with that for sure, but you also need to do real estate full time as much as you can. I don't see anybody can do this half time and be successful, because it does take a full commitment to be completely bought in.
I'm going to agree with that 100%. That was the situation I was in, part-time realtor, and I had nothing. And then I got into it full time, and here we are almost 10 years later. So
yeah, and everyone says your first couple of deals will come from your SOI, your circle. My first couple of deals came from my SOI, my circles, people I know, and people who trust me and know me as a person, and they're willing to maybe give up a couple issues on the real estate side. But here we are, and they're moving and they're happy. And I had 3 weeks, I had 6 deals.
There you go.
All of a sudden.
Wow.
It was crazy time.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's do that more often.
Just do it every 3 weeks, right? Yeah.
Well, Pete, you have the skill set, you have the drive and the work ethic, and your videos. If you haven't, tell people where they can find your videos. What's your handle on TikTok?
Oh, Jesus.
Jesus? That's kind of.
I don't remember my TikTok handle.
How about Peter Jones? I suppose that might pull up a whole bunch of different folks. But they can
at Pete Jones Realty is my handle on TikTok, but I'm also on YouTube and Facebook and all the things. So,
all right. Yeah. So check out Pete. He does a great job online. He's also doing a great job as a realtor 6 months in, and I have the deals to prove it. Got to get to closing though.
Yeah.
And
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
And you're working hard on getting to those closings. That's another part of the job, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Reminds me that I had a conversation with the first sale by owner. I was doing a video on his home. I wasn't trying to sell him. I said, "Do you mind if I ask why you didn't choose a realtor?" He says, "I don't want to pay a realtor $10,000 to work 10 hours." He's like, "That's $1,000 an hour. It's more than I make." And I wasn't there to sell him on hiring me. I was there to do a video, and I just kind of let it go. And he's since lowered his home. With $15,000 or more he's come down in price, and he still hasn't sold his home. And so it's one of those. We do a lot more than just 10 hours.
Yeah, we do.
I can spend 10 hours just doing the research up front to get the listing. And then there's all the other things that go into it. So it's a lot more than people think.
And being a counselor, that's not. We'll have to do a whole podcast on being a real estate counselor. So, Pete, thanks for sharing your story with us. The beginning of a story that will last many, many years, and look forward to all those referrals that you get moving forward.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks for spending the time. Thanks for listening. Are you down with LPT? We know you are. Have a great day.
That's a wrap for today's episode of Are You Down with LPT? Thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you get some valuable takeaways to apply to your journey. New episodes drop every Friday, so make sure to subscribe so you never miss out. And hey, if you have your own story you'd like to share or questions you'd like to dive into, hit us up. Until next time, stay down with LPT and keep leveling up. Catch you in the next one.